We ready to get started? I know everybody's time's important to them. So let's call the meeting to order at 4:32. Bob, you want to start us out?
Yes, Bacon, present.
Hunter present.
Zala present.
Keequan present?
Milky, present.
Coin present.
Myers, present.
Sweet present.
Seeing a quorum present. We'll officially open this Economic Development Authority Board meeting, special information meeting. Again, this is our informational meeting for fulfillment of our Public Act 57 rules. And moving on with the approval of the agenda for the special.
I'll move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Support.
Motion by Milky, support by Bacon to approve tonight's informational meeting agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Moving on to item 4, new business, the 2021 annual report.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to see you all again and to repeat this meeting. This is our special information meeting. We're largely looking back at 2021. Everybody should have a copy of the 2021 annual synopsis of EDA activities. I won't go through in detail, but I'd like to hit just the highlights of some of the accomplishments from 2021, because they're very significant. Largely, they're on page 4 of the packet, page 3 of the synopsis. The most significant event was the completion of the updated DDA district development plans and tax increment financing plans, both of which were set to expire at the end of 2021. Both DDA districts were updated and extended for 20 years. Especially appreciate the assistance and support and cooperation of Isabella County in that. They were very helpful in getting that done as a significant taxing jurisdiction that we work with. They did support that extension. And a couple of the other items that were significant was the purchase of the property of 5800 East Pickard. This is the site at Enterprise Drive in Pickard that will be hopefully, as equipment is available, as supplies are available, getting started on replacing the existing sewer pump station there and with an expanded station. And we did take down the obsolete buildings on the property. We'll be looking at, once the sewer pump station project is done, putting that property on the market for redevelopment. And then the item that is not on the list of accomplishments, but really should have been, was the Jameson Park improvements. And the EDA board, and specifically the East EDA districts, financial support for all the work that was done in Jameson Park. If you haven't been over there lately, please take a look. It really is a very nice change. The Jameson Hall itself was modernized as well, and it's a very, very nice venue. But the park itself has been improved significantly, and it's just a very nice space. So those are the highlights from 2021. I'm happy to answer any questions. Or any questions from our public?
Comments, questions? Nobody online? Public? Anybody?
Well, the next two items under new business, 2022 priorities and 2023, really, I think these we can talk about together. They really are summarized in the implementation strategy documents for each of the DDA districts that were developed as part of that project update and extended districts. Those implementation strategy documents are on our website. There are a bunch of projects to look at for the future. We'll be looking at that as we're putting the budget together for 2023. But they really are the guiding documents for us going forward as to projects we'll be working on. Certainly, you've seen some of the projects that were budgeted in 2022, but just got started. Right outside the window, you can see the work starting on our sidewalk along South Lincoln. The sidewalk project on Remus Road is just about wrapped up. So we've had some very good work this year as well, and looking forward to doing more in 2023.
I'll just comment that I'm excited about those sidewalks, and can't remember who we hired, but they did quick work.
Any more comments? Public comments? Nobody online? We can move on to item C then.
But we really covered that one,
Well,
actually.
let's see.
Yep.
Okay.
23.
Yep.
So item 5, public comment in this meeting, director comments, anything there?
Nothing at this time.
Hearing no more questions, guess we could conclude this special informational meeting. Call adjournment at 4:39 for the special information meeting. And moving on to our next regularly scheduled meeting. So Bob, you want to start us off?
Bacon present.
Hunter present.
Zalin's still here.
Pequam still here?
Milky's still here.
Coin here. Ours here.
Sweet here.
Seeing a quorum present. We can move on to agenda item 3 with one amendment we'd like to add. I think in front of you, you've seen speaking of sidewalks, the contractor's application for payment number 1. We'd like to place that on new business. Item 8. Under item 8. So with that added item, can I get a motion to approve
Make a
the
motion to
agenda?
approve the agenda as is.
Second.
Got a motion by Coin, support by Sweet, to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. And the motion is approved. Let's move on to agenda item number 4. Approval of meeting minutes. Let's start with the July 19th regular meeting minutes.
Move that we approve the meeting minutes of the July 19th regular meeting as presented.
Support. Got a motion by Zalid, support by Coin, to approve the meeting minutes of July 19th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Meeting minutes are approved. Let's move on to the July 26th special information meeting minutes.
Move to approve the July 26, 2022 special informational meeting minutes.
I'll support.
Motion by Sweet, support by Hunter
Bacon.
or Bacon.
Yeah.
You guys all. Support by Bacon. All in favor approving the July 26th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. And meeting minutes are approved. Let's move on to item 5. Presentations with, we got Mount Pleasant Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Hello, hi, I'm Chris Rowley. Thanks for letting me present today. Just in front of you, you'll see our annual report, and I'll go over that second, but just wanted to take time to give a few updates about what the Convention and Visitors Bureau is. We're a destination marketing and management organization for Isabella County, and the purpose is to market and develop the city and county brand experiences to targeted overnight visitor audiences for economic growth and quality of place. So we are funded by the hotel assessment for 5% for the lodging facilities in Isabella County. So we focus on driving visitor demand, enhancing the visitor experience, and communicating relevancy and viability. Some of our goals would be to increase marketing and sales, facilitating destination development, strengthening our advocacy and community relations, and then our resources and administration. So our priorities are to identify our brand and execute it, implement some measurable results, strengthen marketing partnerships. So one of those would be Union Township. And I know some things we've done and partnered with in the past have been the banners out front to welcome people to the community. We partnered on the Meet Here rebranding of the community. Most recently is probably the Chippewa River Master Plan. And then Rodney also sits on our sports commission as a new member. So those are some things we have partnered on, but continuing to invest to partner with other entities in the community as well. Investing in our destination development, supporting workforce development. The hospitality industry has been hit very hard, so working on that initiative, working on community pride for our community members. And then we have some results. So we look at that, and you'll see some of that in our annual report, but we look at visitor spending, the tax, employment, occupancy, assessment numbers. And then we market the community for leisure. So that includes outdoor rec, arts and cultural tourism, food and shopping, visiting friends and relatives, alumni pass-through traffic, golf, and then events. We also market to sports, so we're a big sports destination, bringing in lots of tournaments since we're centrally located within the state. And then meetings as well, same thing, work with meetings to come to Mount Pleasant. So just to go over some highlights of the annual report that you do have in front of you. If you open it up to the center spread, we have a highlights from our 2021. So we partnered with 36 other CVBs within the state for National Travel and Tourism Week. We did a scavenger hunt, and that was a statewide initiative. We did increase our assessment numbers over 2020, which obviously 2020 took a big deep dive down. And then 2021 was still coming back. We were able to still host 20 sporting events. We did a webinar, some training for local businesses, and we partnered with the SBDC and Middle Michigan Development Corporation to give tips and strategies during COVID on how to use your social media. We did a digital video series promoting local businesses. We continue to work on the Meet Here for community pride. We partnered with the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe for a Play and Stay package. We partnered with CMU for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. We hosted Back to the Bricks Car Show at the casino. We honored MMDC with our tourism award. And then we also purchased buttons for game days for the fall and distributed those to local hotels and attractions and restaurants. So those are some of the highlights from 2021 that we are able to accomplish. On the next page shows our economic impact. So some of those numbers that I briefly mentioned that we look at for what is the impact here. So you can see there's lodging, food and beverage, retail, recreation, and transportation, each broken out for a total of millions of dollars that are invested into our community. And that's from Travel Michigan, so those are 2020 numbers. 2021 revenue for the Bureau itself, we have increased our assessments, so we were upwards of just over 900,000. We were up 58% in CVB assessments, up 27% in room nights sold, and then both our occupancy was up compared to 2020. For comparing to 2019 numbers, we were just actually right on target for assessments, and then a little bit down in hotel nights. But 2021, for half of the year, meetings were still not allowed. If you think back, meetings didn't open back up until June of last year. And then on the following page, it shows our leisure market and some of our results, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the top cities for website traffic that come into the CVB, and our top clicked pages, and then some of our partnership results. But if you flip the following page, meetings and sports, we did have 10 canceled events for sports. So meetings were pretty much non-existent for the beginning of the year. And then sports, we still had about 10 canceled events in 2021. So happy to say we're in 2022, and things are looking better. We haven't had anything canceled due to the pandemic. So continuing to look good on those. But you can see some of our key events that we host and sponsor within the community. And then one of the newest developments on the following page is our destination development. So you can see what we have invested. And every year the Bureau has dollars to invest back into the community to improve tourism in Isabella County. So working on a scorecard currently to help look at what those projects may be and give a score to it so that we can decide what types of projects we want to invest in for both sports and then general. So that's something that we're going to continue to do and have conversations. So I know Union Township is supportive of the CVB and does help give some money as well. So we appreciate that to be able to market our community more. So any questions for me?
I want to thank you for supporting the Dave Hunter Drillers Classic. The baseball, he would be very humbled on that. And this has become a really huge event for Isabella County. I don't know if anybody really knows that, but all of the baseball teams, I think they start like in 7, 8 years old, I think up to 16. I'm not quite sure there, but it's growing every single year. So thank you for hosting that. That's wonderful. So that makes me feel good.
Good. Yep, we're happy to support that and those sports
It's a really
tournaments.
fun one. The kids have a great time.
Yep.
I try to make it to all the different fields if I can and visit with different people there. So I'm really happy, and Dave would be so honored.
Good, good, happy to hear that. We do put out a high demand date that we do put out to local attractions, restaurants, hotels, so that they know what's taking place in the community. So we're not trying to book everything on the same weekend and not be able to manage it too. So we do put that out there, and we do service those groups. So when a tournament comes to town, we can help provide them with room blocks or sponsorship or whatever their needs may be for each that. And not everyone is, they're all different. So, but we try to manage each of those tournaments coming to town with what we can so that they have a great experience and they come back year after year, and that those teams want to continue to come back, and they'll tell their friends that they had a good experience as well. So, thank you.
Any questions, Chris?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
sure. thanks for
Thank
your
you.
support as well.
I got a question. How was occupancy for Special Olympics week this year? It seemed like there wasn't many cars in the parking lot. It was running this year, but it seemed.
Yeah, I don't have the full pickup numbers yet that I think we've reported on, but we do try to get that collection from the hotels. I will tell you, it is a little difficult, and that if they don't say they're here for Special Olympics, we have a hard time tracking them. So we're trying to improve that for future and maybe get that on Special Olympics to provide that to us and ask those families so that we can truly be showing a true economic impact. I do know, I believe it was about 75% back compared to what it was in its before COVID time. So I know that they were very, it was virtual one year and then at about like 25% in 2021. So I believe it was close.
It
And they
was
are
bad this year.
anticipating it to be at 100% is from what I hear for 2023.
Okay. Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
No more questions for Chris? Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And moving on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Anybody hiding out there? Anybody online? No?
Public.
Hearing nobody here, let's move on to item 7, reports with accounts payable approval.
Good afternoon, everyone. So let's look at the accounts payable for the East DDA first. We have a payment to Consumers Energy for $541.61. This is for the electrical to the streetlights on Pickard. And then we have a payment to Union Township for summer tax payment for the property at Yates Drive. That's for $158.03. And then we have a payment to Gilroy's Hardware for a padlock for Yates Drive. That check is for $7.89. And we have a payment to Goner Lawn Care for mowing along Pickard in July, and that check is for $2,175. And we have a payment to Michigan Economic Developers Association for half of the membership dues for 2022. That's for $157.50. So we have a total accounts payable for East DDA of $3,040.03. Are there any questions on any of those payments?
I had one question, kind of not related to payables, but on the Goner Lawn Care. I noticed down there on the corner of Somerton and 20, where Consumers Power built that new station, and then Mid-Michigan put that new sign there. And then they started with that nice landscaping, nice planting, it was all mulched. But I see we cut the grass, but nobody takes care of that newly installed landscaping feature. So maybe Mid's thinking we were gonna do it, maybe we're thinking they were gonna do it, but all summer it's just all weeds now. I mean, it was nice, but maybe check into that.
I'll make a note of that. I can talk about that on the director comments.
Okay.
I'll make a note to do that.
So regarding the 2120 Yates Drive, realizing that we have tax payments this year but not next year, does this mean that we're done, or because winter will fall into January?
The summer tax that's being paid right now, yes, that's the 2022 tax year, and then the winter tax payment is also a 2022 tax
It is,
year.
okay. So we'll have one additional tax payment
Yes.
before we don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And we did include that in the budget.
And I remember discussing, I just couldn't remember if it was both summer and winter or just the summer.
Any other questions?
a motion for the 3,000?
Motion, we pay the, bills for the East DDA as presented.
Support.
Motion by Zalid, support by Sweet. Hearing no more questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And motion is approved. Let's move on to the West DDA check register.
Okay, in the West DDA, we just have one check issued for the half of the Michigan Economic Developers Association membership dues for 2022. That amount is $157.50. Just the one check today.
Make a motion to pay the West EDA checking, the bills as presented.
Support.
Motion by Zalid, I would say support by Coin. Hearing no more questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And motion is carried.
Okay, so moving on to the East DDA financials. Let's take a look at the revenue and expenditure report to start with. For the East DDA, last month you approved a budget amendment for 2022. If you look at the 2022 amended budget column, that's been posted here on the report. So I'll just quickly go over the budget to actual percentages here. We have, in the revenue area, we're at about 90% of the budget has been posted here in the actuals. And then in the expenditure area, we're sitting at about 13% of the budget in the expenditure area. And there's a lot of detail here I won't go over, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on the details of that. Are there any questions?
On the revenue, I assume we're still, the state aid revenue that's just gonna come in here before the end of the year, or you still anticipate getting paid?
Yes, we applied for that. We met the deadline. We applied for that in June. It was due June 15th. And we normally see that come in around November.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, moving on to the balance sheet for the East DDA. If you look at the totals at the bottom, your ending fund balance right now is sitting at just under 1.9 million, and you have just under 1.9 million in liquid assets, cash. So it's a good, healthy fund balance. Are there any questions on the balance sheet? Okay, let's move on to the West DDA. You've got the same thing here. Your amended budget is posted that you approved last month. In the revenue area, you're sitting at about 100% of the budget. You won't have a lot more revenue coming in for the year except interest earned, and possibly, you might have to do a property tax refund there. And then in the expenditure area, you're sitting at about 6% of your budget. There's a lot of projects outstanding that are being worked on, and I'm expecting bills to come later for those. Are there any questions on your revenue and expenditure report for the West DDA?
The West EDA doesn't qualify for the state aid?
We fill out the form every year. Most years, it comes out to 0. So we try. This year, we did send one in because it came out, I can't remember the amount, but it's a real small amount, like $200 or something. So we submitted it, but we don't have it in the budget because I wasn't expecting anything in the
Okay,
west.
thank you.
Yep. Are there any other questions? Okay, moving on to the balance sheet for the West DDA. If you look at the ending fund balance right now, you're about 1.8 million in the West DDA. And the same for cash. The liquid assets are about 1.8 million. Are there any questions on the balance sheet for the West DDA? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to present these financials today.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. So let's let the record show the financial statements were presented, received, and filed. Looking at agenda item 7C, we have the board member matrix with expiration dates to keep an eye on. And moving on to item 8 with the new business, the agenda amendment item. Go ahead, Rodney.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking this step to add this item to the agenda. As said, noted earlier, this is an item before you. It's the contractor's application for payment. This is for the Remus Road Sidewalk project. If you've been down that way, see the sidewalks project is pretty much done. A few housekeeping details, I think. This is a partial payment. As you can see, there's still a significant amount, $121,000 that would be outstanding. So there will be a second request at some point soon. But this is a partial payment. We're very comfortable with this partial payment. You can see that the form was dated August 8th. It was not delivered to the township on August 8th. It was delivered to me via email this morning, which is why it's coming in this way instead of through the normal channels. I appreciate very much Sherry Teal's help with this today and looking for a solution to try to be able to bring this to you. What I'd ask you to consider would be a motion to authorize payment of this invoice, this contractor application for payment, in the amount of $175,428.55. If you'd like to I know the print is very small on this. If you would like to note an invoice number, the invoice number is 22158. And of course, this is a payment to the Isabella Corporation for the Remus Road Sidewalk project. So I would ask that you consider authorizing this payment today. If it is authorized, the township will issue a check. It will not go out immediately, but it will be issued in the next week or 2 weeks, as soon as the current check register is completed. And then it would obviously appear on the next meeting's check register for your reference as well.
Make a motion to approve invoice number 22158 to Isabella Corporation for $175,428.55.
Support.
A motion by Bars, support by Sweet. To approve the pay application number 1 to the Isabella Corporation. Any questions? I had one. So as far as like a sworn statement and lien waivers, that's covered in that little contractor box signed by Brian, Byron. So how I'm used to seeing like a little sworn statement with a,
Typically, the sworn statement they do in the second estimate. And then you have part, once you receive the first payment, then you can get waivers.
yeah, so it's sworn statement on the first, then lien waivers on the following one?
Yeah.
Is that how you guys used to
But
do that?
we didn't prepare them. We certainly can if the board wishes. That's not something we do a lot, but it's a good try. Jeff had let me know if there was any bills that weren't being paid.
Yeah. And besides that, it looks good to me, but any more comments? So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same.
Abstain.
One abstention. And motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob, Sherry, for getting that quickly put on there. As you can see, the timestamp was this morning on the paper request.
So let's move on to item 9, pending business. You have anything there, Rodney?
Nothing today.
Just an update. If I read it right, the county accepted or was a bid for Lincoln Road. Is that gonna start this fall?
There's signs up today, I saw the start
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I was going to comment on that, not director comments, but yes, yes, it is getting started very shortly.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Director comments?
Oh, it's a pain for me, cause I gotta drive around.
Yes,
and
my
take-
grandkids, yeah, it's a really big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are going to see that intersection close up shortly, and yes, the work is supposed to be getting started next week or so. The MISTIG requests are out. The project is definitely moving forward. You will shortly, I suspect, start seeing some payments related to that as those requests come. But that is very happy to see that project moving forward. Earlier was a question about the Consumers Energy, what's called the City Gate project at Somerton and M20. The area there, we're not mowing that. First, I want to say that area is mowed by Consumers Energy. For a while, it wasn't being entirely mowed. They had left an area kind of to grow natural, and that is something that Consumers Energy, it's important to them to try to have those natural areas. We had the conversation with them that they need at least mow back from the sidewalk a minimum distance to meet our ordinance requirements. They did have their mower go back out, and he ended up mowing the whole thing. I'm not sure why, but he did mow it all down. The landscape area at the corner is also Consumers Energy to maintain. So I hadn't taken a look at that recently. I'll take a look at it and have a conversation with them about that, and we'll make sure that gets taken care of. We do have a project we'd still like to get done in looking at some new gateway signage there. The Consumers Energy was very cooperative about that. So we may be doing something, we may eventually be involved with that landscaped area if we do look at putting some signage. Right now, we haven't even started that project yet, but at least for right now, it is the utility company's responsibility to maintain that area.
Okay.
That's part of an approved site plan.
On a similar note, on the same corridor, so the Dollar General project, their right-of-way area, I think part of it was sodded, and I think the other part was not for whatever, probably utilities going in or something, but it was never seeded or so it's just grown over with crabgrass, and we're mowing it, but it's a distinct difference between where they sod it, so they never really finished that area. I don't know if that's something that we shouldn't be responsible for that, obviously, but maybe we are.
Yeah. We worked with Dollar General on a number of things. They did finally complete their project. That was not one we could get movement on. I will say that area is going to be completely shredded
Oh,
next
yeah,
year.
yeah.
So it has
Yeah.
not been a big push to
Gotcha, yeah, I
improve
didn't
that.
even,
I suspect almost all that's going to be reseeded by MDOT when they're done.
yep.
But if there is something left over, we can take a look
No,
at it.
I forgot, I completely forgot about that.
But I definitely appreciate you looking at the details, and I encourage anytime you see something that doesn't look right. I think earlier there was a question that came up about the planter beds underneath the interchange, underneath the US 127, and the question, why weren't they being maintained with? Yeah, and I think we talked about this, but the answer was because we're waiting to get the water turned on. Our contractor who puts in those flowers and all that didn't have any water there because of an issue that had to be resolved. And so, but I always appreciate those details. So just please keep watch for those and let me know as you see things that may look amiss.
I forgot, how long is Lincoln gonna be closed?
Well, they're I think intending to finish this year. It's a project that.
November 14th.
Yeah.
November 14th. November 14th.
Yeah, that would be my suspicion.
Okay.
I think it's gotta
But-
be
It's
completed by
just
then.
so painful.
They won't close that corner that entire
The
time,
Bru-
though. I guess the
Broomfield?
question maybe was how long it's
Yeah,
to be
what
closed,
part of the
right?
road, they're closing all of Lincoln, right, from
Lincoln
Broomfield?
Bridge.
Lincoln will be, so first thing they've gotta do is they've gotta run 36-inch storm sewer from the bridge where they left off down to the intersection.
Okay,
And so, and there's really, you can't do any road work there. You know, again, how the contractor's gonna stage it, I don't know. But I know when we looked at it, there was gonna be a segment of the project that they're just gonna go down to get to the intersection.
okay.
And then they've gotta turn in that big structure on the south side of Lincoln, east of the intersection is where they're tying in. So they've gotta go that far down Lincoln, and so when they get up to the intersection and turn, then for sure the intersection will be, but whether they'll take it out and just
You're
leave
talking
Lincoln,
the intersection,
of Lincoln and Broomfield. Like I say, then they've gotta turn and go down Broomfield, and when they make the turn around Broomfield, then it's down until they're done.
Yeah.
So they're,
wow.
yep,
It's a tough one. Okay.
the poor canoe people. Seems like about every other year, we've got Lincoln Road closed down for
Yeah.
part of the summer for the past decade.
We can all say it'll be nice when it's done.
Yeah.
That's about all we can say right now. It will be
We,
nice.
we live on this side.
Yeah, no, you're,
I used to live over there.
Lucky.
That was
that's
a
right,
pain.
you moved. You-
That was a pain over
Yeah,
that
I'm just
bridge.
thinking going to work.
That bridge, you
Yeah.
had to go through down Watson and, oh,
They also closed on Mission Street Bridge at the same time.
Jim,
Yeah.
you might know this answer when you brought up storm sewers. Does the road commission have a maintenance budget for, like, catch basin cleaning and curb cleaning and, because I don't see a lot of it done, and I
That's
just,
a good, yes, that's a good question. I made the same observation that,
I mean, you can just go out right out here on Pickard and see the curb is flush with soil.
one thing that we've tried to do is we go down, you know, and the returns are just loaded to try to clean them up just to get some drainage going on 20 as we go by, but,
Right.
yeah, usually the state gets around there, I know they do clean out, county, I don't think so much.
It's just frustrating that you spend all the money to install storm sewer and they don't get
And then you don't
maintained.
Clean them out.
Okay. Speaking of resodding and kind of letting go, I'm not sure when the property in Country Square Estates was purchased, it was not in our boundaries, but it is now. I noticed they resodded that and really haven't mowed it at all, and now the weeds have taken over whatever
Right,
whatever grass attempt was kind of killed by lack of.
lack of moisture at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had, they did a lot of grading work, more than was expected, actually, on that site when they did that remove that foundation. They did grade and adjust that far more of the lot than we expected them to need to. And then, yes, they did hydroseed it, but it for the most part, it didn't take. We are mowing that. It's really just weeds at the moment. We do have a project that's going to be coming up the same project that we're doing the sidewalk here in the Township Hall, we did include getting a sidewalk across that stretch that the general fund is paying for. As part of our budget for next year, would like to have a conversation about that lot and looking at doing something more with it in terms of.
Right, and I know it hasn't been our responsibility till now, because when you purchased it, it wasn't in our boundaries, but now will be, so
Right.
I'm just.
So we'll be.
Future maintenance and improvements we might be looking at.
Yeah, we'll be looking at that, and for next year, we'll also be looking at having our East EDA mowing contractor take on that lot as well. Right now, we're dealing with it through the general fund.
Anything else? Hearing no more comments, guess we can call the meeting adjourned, 5:18.
Thank you, Joe.
And we'll see everybody next